The tennis world was buzzing tonight after an electrifying clash that left fans both stunned and deeply moved. On one side of the net stood Aryna Sabalenka, fierce, relentless, and determined to make a statement. On the other side was Emma Raducanu, the young star who, just a few short years ago, shocked the world with her fairy-tale US Open victory. This match wasn't just another stop on the tour. It was a collision of two different tennis stories: Sabalenka, the powerhouse who's fought her way to the top through grit and consistency, and Raducanu, the prodigy who's faced a whirlwind of expectations since her breakout win. From the very first rally, it was clear: Sabalenka came to dominate. Her serves were like thunderclaps, her ground strokes heavy and precise. But Raducanu, as always, fought with every ounce of heart she had. She chased down every ball, her face a mix of determination and defiance. The crowd, torn between their admiration for Sabalenka's sheer strength and their love for Raducanu's underdog spirit, roared with every point. It was intense, it was emotional. It was tennis at its purest form. But as the games rolled on, Sabalenka's power started to overwhelm Raducanu. You could see the frustration in Emma's eyes, not because she wasn't trying, but because she was giving everything, and somehow it still wasn't enough. The final scoreline told one story, a decisive win for Sabalenka, but what happened after the match told another. As the players approached the net, Sabalenka didn't just offer the usual handshake. She leaned in, placed her other hand gently on Raducanu's arm, and said something. Cameras caught the moment, but not the words. And it left everyone wondering, what exactly did she say? Minutes later, during her on-court interview, Sabalenka revealed it. She looked out at the crowd, still catching her breath, and spoke with a tone that was less about victory and more about respect. Emma is a fighter, Sabalenka said, her voice carrying both strength and sincerity. She deserves more respect than she gets. People see results and forget she's still so young, still growing, still fighting through so much. I know what it's like to have people doubt you. I just want her to know, she belongs here. It was raw. It was real. And it was the kind of honesty you rarely hear in the heat of competition. The crowd erupted in applause, and Raducanu, standing off to the side, gave a small, humble smile. But there was more in her eyes, perhaps relief, perhaps gratitude, maybe even a little bit of hope. Because let's be honest, Raducanu has been under a microscope since the day she lifted that US Open trophy. Every win is dissected, every loss magnified. Injuries, coaching changes, the pressure of the spotlight, it's all been part of her journey. And through it all, people have been quick to write her off. But tonight, even in defeat, she got something she hasn't always been given: public, heartfelt validation from one of the very best in the world. After the match, in the press room, Sabalenka expanded on her thoughts. She spoke about how hard it is to navigate the expectations of a global audience, how brutal the mental side of tennis can be, and how much resilience it takes just to keep showing up. I've been there, she said. When you're young, everyone expects you to win everything. But life, tennis, it doesn't work like that. Emma is strong. And I respect her for the way she keeps fighting, no matter what people say. Meanwhile, Raducanu's own post-match interview was just as telling. She admitted she was disappointed. Of course she was, but she also said Sabalenka's words meant a lot. Sometimes you don't hear those things, Raducanu said quietly. Sometimes you only hear the criticism. So for her to say that, after beating me, it means more than people might realize. It was a moment that reminded everyone that tennis is more than rankings and titles. It's about human beings, each carrying their own battles, their own doubts, their own reasons to keep going. Social media lit up almost instantly. Fans from around the world praised Sabalenka for her sportsmanship and empathy. Clips of her interview racked up hundreds of thousands of views within hours. Some called it the most honest post-match moment of the season. Others said it was proof that respect in sport is still alive. And in the middle of it all, Emma Raducanu found herself being spoken about in a different way, not just as a former champion trying to find her form, but as a player worthy of patience, of belief, of support. Tennis is a lonely sport. There's no teammate to hide behind, no substitutions when you're having a bad day. Every error, every struggle, plays out in front of thousands in the stadium and millions watching from home. And yet, those moments of connection, those rare times when rivals remind each other that they're more than just competitors, can change everything. For Sabalenka, this was another win on her record, but also a chance to use her voice. For Raducanu, it was a reminder that even in defeat, you can leave the court with your head held high, because respect, once earned, is far more lasting than any single victory. As the tournament moves forward, both players will continue their paths. Sabalenka will chase her next title, driven by the same fire that's made her one of the most feared players on tour. Raducanu will keep working, keep pushing, keep proving herself to the only person whose opinion truly matters, herself. But for those who watch tonight, the memory won't just be of the big serves or the fierce rallies. It will be of that handshake at the net. The hand on the arm. The quiet words of encouragement between two athletes who understand exactly what the other is going through. In a sport where rivalries often dominate the headlines, this was a moment of unity. A reminder that even the fiercest competitors can lift each other up. A reminder that behind every forehand, every serve, every clenched fist of celebration, there's a human story, one that's just as powerful as the scoreboard. And maybe, just maybe, this is the beginning of a new chapter for Emma Raducanu. Not one defined by pressure or expectation, but by growth, resilience, and the kind of respect that can carry a player through the toughest of storms. As Sabalenka walked off the court, she paused for a moment, looked back, and gave Raducanu a small nod. It was subtle, easy to miss if you weren't paying attention. But it spoke volumes. Sometimes, the greatest victories aren't about lifting a trophy. Sometimes, they're about lifting someone else. And tonight, in front of the world, Aryna Sabalenka did exactly that.